As we're here, Sandwell Park Farm, so I'm guessing it possibly is. That's the visitor centre calf. Sandwell Park Farm, just right around the corner. You can see we have come a bit of a distance to come from Dartmouth Park to get into here, and we've still got more to go. Where we want to get to is that right the way there, so we've got to go and try and find that. I have no idea where that even is. So have I gone a different way actually? To make you wonder. Now, because we're here, so I'm guessing we've got to go up there to a car park which comes all the way down, then to the Priory ruins, so it might have to do that. So right, here we are, free access to the courtyard shop, courtyard and tea rooms. Oh wow, it says there, Forge Mill Farm, and there is another farm now. That's right at the top, 1.3 miles, so what is Forge Mill Farm? I think what I am going to do, guys, because this is a really big walk, I'm going to come back over here sometime and we'll go and check out the other pieces around here. So it might be worth to go check those out. It's mainly this, because you can just tell, even by walking down, how old this really is. You can just see right about there, we've got some old pieces just sticking right out already, bits of old metal. Just right about there, they bricked something up, so that might have gone in many years ago. But you can just tell evidence of possible old farm by these could be old stables, maybe where they stored stuff in, or once more kept horses. But check how big those doors are. The brick is so old, you can just see right about there. Got some more bits and pieces sticking right away out. It just goes a bit more further down. Oh wow, check out that, a very old fashioned house. Groom house just right around the corner here. Wow. You see, that is the courtyard. I'm not going to go in there. But you see, this is what I'm more interested in, is the old fashioned machinery which have actually still kept for people to understand. It says there, a rake, which is right the way here. The manufacturer, Blackstones of Stamford, 1925. It was actually used for gathering glass during harvesting. This model could lift and release hay by means of a simple leverage system operated by driver's foot. It's cool to see that right the way there. It's a shame the Black Country Living Museum don't have things like this, because this is really old heritage for more people to see, because you don't really get many people walk down here to see this really. Fixed line cultivator right the way there. So imagine the people who have watched Clarkson's Farm, you probably will know much more about this than me. But you can see right the way there, check out that, even more old-fashioned farming machinery. Wow, I really didn't expect to see this today. I mean, the tools only just getting better. Got a grass mower, manufactured Bamlets of Yorkshire, 1895. Wow, check out the date of that. So I'm making me wonder, all this machinery was in there many years ago. But you see here, potato spinner, that is old. Check out that, the wood is pretty much rotting on the corners of her. Coming all the way down is even more. Check out all this machinery. Got more there, even more here. There's something right about the bottom, but check out this. Got a 7-tine hoe, 1890, made by Garrett's of Suffolk. Look at that. Take some pictures of these as go down, maybe put them at the end of the video. But check out this, we've even got more. There's loads of farm buildings over here, wow. You see right away here, we got something there, crook frames. I can't really show you that because I can't get in there to see it. But if I zoom in, you might be able to see the board. So I think this is the courtyard, so you can get into here from the back somehow. Might pop in the visitor centre and actually go and have a look inside there. Find a bit of a toilet, and then we'll go and make our way to the Priory ruins, which are right around the back. So enjoy the rest of the cinematics. I'm going to show you more about this. So right, we've actually got inside the little farm building right away. Check out this. I mean the architecture of it right away inside. They're speaking to a nice lady just right down the bottom, really lovely. Well, this is really cool, this is. The architecture of the brick in here. The ceiling, we've got them wooden beams right away at the top. Proper old black country farm this is. Check out that. You just see the style of windows as well, just right at the back. But what I love about this place is these old-fashioned lights which you got right the way there. You can imagine a few of them on the outside. There is actually one up there if I show you. Right the way at the top, there's an old light up there. That is so awesome. So right, I don't know what else is inside here. But you can just see there is even more stuff onto here. Stuff to do with West Bromwich, Friends of Dartmouth Park. It says there, we've got this, an old-fashioned plaque here. But it tells you there, coal was very important to the growth of the small industries in the area. And depicted here is the typical pump and engine house associated with the mine in Sandwell Valley. You've got Sandwell Park Colliery, which is on the BCN old line. I'll show you a photo of that when I get outside. So there is lots of information behind that. Got there, more stuff. You see pictures of collieries on there. Right the way down the bottom. But really cool to see all this, but wow. Let's go make our way back outside and we'll go and head to the Priory ruins. So right, I've actually just found out you can bring a bike around here, so keep that in mind because I might come back for some extra videos on this place. I just found out that the place extends even further to the back, Lodge Farm, absolutely huge. So I'm thinking that he was saying take this way, I believe, somewhere to get to the Priory ruins, so I'm going to quickly go up to here. There might be a left-hand turning somewhere. Oh. Two white pigeons, or I don't know if they're pigeons or doves. Don't see that very often. Two of them. Right, here we are, Priory Woods and Local Nature Reserve. So we've come out the Sandwell area now into this. So what this would do, loop us all the way back round that path, and we've got a lot more to cover. But you just say here, Priory Woods has some of the finest woodland in Sandwell Valley Country Park, as well as the very old trees. You can find a number of pools, a wildflower meadow and an area of heathland. There are both surface and unsurfaced footpaths around the reserve, which also lead to other areas of the country park. It says there as well, you've got woodpeckers you can spot over here. Got a grey squirrel just trying to come to me right around the corner, very tame. Oh, shot right away off. We've got there, the near pools are ruins of the 12th century priory, and later the site of the Sandwell Hall, home of the Earl of Dartmouth, who owned much of the surrounding land. So it says there, look out for the well from which Sandwell takes its name. Right, keep our eyes on that. It says there, Sandwell, right around the corner. That's actually why it's called Sandwell then. In Priory Woods there are a number of trees which are over 230 years old. To find these magnificent sweet chestnuts, you'll need to walk past the Priory ruins and explore the woodland either side of the main track. So you see, it just extends further right away down. It is really beautiful to see the amount of wildlife what's over here, it's non-stop and endless. Well, check out this. Got a little stream running right the way through, just down to the bottom, leaking in down the bottom here to end up into a smaller pool. Check out this smaller pool down here. Oh wow, so you can just see, hiding right around the gap is a heron. Check out that. Wee looks though, don't spook it. And you see, look at the views, that heron down there. Really beautiful. So there must be fish in here then. There's got to be fish right around the middle parts. But wow, what a sight of that heron. You see there's a mallard over there feeding. But wow, what a nice area this is to have the pool where you first walk into the woodland. So there is a bit of information here about Sandwell Valley history. So Sandwell Valley retained almost intact as one estate since the Middle Ages, when it was originally given to the monks of Sandwell Priory. After passing through several hands, it was eventually sold to the Earl of Dartmouth, who in turn sold it to West Bromwich Council in 1947. Traces of history of the valley can be found in the landscape, including an ice house and ha-ha, a ditch used to keep out animals, and traces of ridge and furrow ploughing. If you visit the site of the hall and the priory, you can find clear signs of various periods of its history. So just make you wonder, that first building, what I've seen, was that an old gatehouse? That dates really far back a bit. So it says there, ranging from a hinge of the wall which dates from the building of the priory to a gas and water supply pipe from the 19th century. Swan Pool started life as a mill pond before extending twice, first to take extra water being pumped out of the mine, and later a leisure facility. Some of the smaller ponds in the valley are bomb craters from World War II, but the one just past the priory site under the pylons was actually a tank testing ground for tanks made locally during the war. A firing range was created to train the military. During World War II, a barrage balloon was flown from the mooring in Dartmouth Park. Bit of history there. So I mean, there's so much. I mean, it dates right the way down to the history from a university or something. I'll drop all the links in the description so you can read it. But what's interesting is Sandwell Park Colliery. So I don't know if you remember from my Exploring the Black Country videos, the Sandwell Park Colliery on the canal sidings on the old line. You may have seen me show it a bit of that before, and you've always wondered what that was. So Sandwell Park Colliery Limited was incorporated in 1870. The first sod was turned on the 2nd of May 1870 by Sir Roderick Murchison, geologist and supporter of the colliery. The actual sinking of the colliery began on the 1st of October 1870. So the colliery sat in the triangle of land fenced by the GWR main line from the Birmingham to Wolverhampton on one side, the GWR line to Starbridge on another, and Roebuck Lane on the third. The colliery had private sidings along the Wolverhampton main line and tramway that led to the Wolverhampton level of the Birmingham Canal. There's a bit of tramway walls just down the back. If we can get there, I will definitely 100% show you that. There's lots of information it talks about there, going all the way down. The tramway that linked both collieries ran on a similar alignment to the present day, N5. Kenrick Watt and Telford Way. During the 1930s, both collieries underwent modernisation, so it was actually demolished after the 1950s of the engine houses at Sandwell Park Colliery. Bits of information of Sandwell Park Colliery, so you see how far it really does date back. So there we go, more information of the park and the colliery. So what we're going to do now is journey all the way around. Let's go and check out the Priory ruins and also the tramway remains just right away down the bottom somewhere. So right, how beautiful was that? That was absolutely nice to see that. Coming all the way through that woodland and seeing the wildlife and nature. There's absolutely so much, so it's definitely worth coming down to see that. The birds are so tame. I nearly had a bird land on my shoulder, I blew it. Couldn't believe it. But wow, I'm really fascinated with this place. It is really beautiful. So here we are, whether this is the motorway now, it's really busy. But you can just see now the motorway just onto the corners right the way here. Check out that. Really busy down there. That's the motorway. You see, this is the M6 leading to Warsaw and Wolverhampton. So the sign's right away in the distance. Wow. Very loud, guys, this is. So right, here we are onto the other side of the Sandwell Valley now. Coming to the Priory Wood section where the pools I believe there's a nice house over here somewhere. And then we've got the Priory ruins, I think. So I'm going to keep on this straight line which takes us to the Priory ruins. That way down there takes us to some tramway remains right the way down the bottom. We'll check the coal mine stuff a bit later on. But let's go and check out this bit first, just right the way in front. So you see we have crossed the M5 motorway coming off the Sandwell Park section from that side. There is a nice house right the way there, you can actually get inside it, so I'm going to go and try and find that a bit later on. It's got a picture of that little frozen thing right around the corner. Got Priory ruins, which is a bit more of a further walk. Got Sandwell. Have a look at that because that's actually where Sandwell originated from. But it's quite a big place this, it does stretch right the way up. Where the tramway remains is for Sandwell Park Colliery. It's somewhere on the gap there, so we'll go and see if we can see those. This makes you wonder how far Sandwell Park Colliery really was to the canal line itself. I think it was backing off somewhere down this way. But well, and there was something earlier that was talking about the chestnut tree, which is right the way there, which is really old. Right, let's go and check out Priory ruins, but I might actually see if we can get to this ice house. So I believe there is a turning on the left. The next one, let's go and see what we can find and see if we can find this ice house, which is going to be interesting. But you can just imagine ages and ages ago, this is what Sandwell Park would have really looked like. Check out that. Sandwell Park, an 18th century landscape. But just how amazing that is. You've got that. So there we go. That is actually why I found that building at the start. It was actually a gatehouse to this. It would have been really massive. Well, check in there, you've got Archway Lodge, ice house during excavation in 1982, and you've got bits and pieces there, like a little gate entry going right the way through. But wow, I'm interested to find out what's even down here actually. Haha, I always thought I would find it. I've actually found the ice house. So I didn't think I'd actually find it in this video, but it's absolutely muddy. Check out all the mud. Right. You just see right the way there, there's a bit of there would have been a plaque on there telling you about it, but what we're going to do is obviously see if this gate opens, which it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is climb the fence. Right, I mean there's a gate there, but there's nothing stopping you from climbing over, which is what I like to do because I'm very curious of what's about things. But you can just imagine what an ice house would have been like, really. And there is actually one up in Priory, believe it or not. I will actually cover a video on that. It's well hidden. There is a little bit of a gap through here. Let's get my torch and just look for the gap. So I'm not sure if you can see anything at all. It's really hard to get a view. But it backs off right away to the back. Zooming right away in. You see a bit of back wall. And what it will do is come to an end to another brick wall with a massive dome right away inside. So many years the estate what was here would have kept all their goods all the way in there, kept it cold, would have come back and forth. Himleo's got one, the Grange by Midsummer's Park's got one, and then this park's got one, which is really quite interesting. But to see this door's been locked one more time, you just got to come at random times. People end up taking the locks off for some reason, and to see inside it is amazing. Jim's Modern Life drop a link in the description, go and check out his video, because that is interesting right the way inside there. I'm hoping he has still got a video on his channel for you guys to see it. But wow, one more view for that. But check out that, the ice house. But yeah, well, an absolute shame you can't get in that ice house. But check out the scale of this on the corner. There's a view down there, got a pool right the way at the back. Might be able to get around and show you that in a little bit. But you see the bottom end of the wall to the ice house just onto this corner here. Well, that is amazing. So many years ago when they dug the land, you see where it goes up in the dome shape. Let's get back out of here. Oh, it's a short hop over the fence, which isn't too bad. There we go. So right, there we go. One more view of the Sandwell Park area. Just imagine having the ice house right the way here, so they come in and out. Bit of a journey for them to come just to get to there really, but it does look like a canal. Number 7, it doesn't tell you about it, but that is really quite cool. So I've only just realised that this is actually the ha-ha right the way here. That is a ha-ha to stop animals from getting one side to the other. And Haydenhill Park has also got something very similar, but it's not there anymore. There's information about it. But that is cool, because I was visualising ideas that it would have been an old canal having Sandwell Park colliery nearby. But nah, it's actually an aha, if you want to know what that is. It tells you on the board, it's just to stop animals from crossing. There we go, another piece of interesting information. So yeah, here we are, Sandwell Priory. Real piece of history here, just lying for the public to come and see. So here we go, this is Priory ruins. Check out this, got lots of stuff down there, lots of stuff down the corner, a lot of ruined stuff down there, and of course lots of stuff here for the public to see. And it says there, Sandwell Priory. These are the remains of Sandwell Priory, a medieval Benedictine monastery which was excavated between 1982 and 1988. Some of the finds from the site are displayed in the small museum at Sandwell Park Farm. You see, it really does date back a bit. So you see here just a map telling you about it, the refectory, the cloister right the way there, having the north transept which goes all the way across somewhere down there, the chancel crossing, south aisle, south chapel, south transept, all the way down the back down there. So there we go. I mean, it does date to 1200, 1160, 1200 there, 1300 to 1525. So in the early years, the chancel, presbytery crossing, transepts, the north and south chapels of the church were constructed first. The cloister ranges were built in timber, and the nave and the south aisle may have only been planned. So it does really date back a bit. So if you do want to read much information about this, then definitely feel free to read about these sections by pausing the video. If I go down very carefully, you can pause the video and obviously read some of this, which is really interesting. Actually tells you much about the Priory itself. So just a bit more information. The Priory was built around the mid 12th century by William, son of Guy the Offaly, Lord of the Manor of West Bromwich. It was located next to the Sandwell, a natural spring a short distance to the south from the Priory gets its name. Although endowed with lands, property and many privileges, documentary evidence leaves the impression of a priory at times struggling to survive. The recruitment in its first 100 years probably approached the idea of a dozen monks led by a prior. However, in the second half of the 14th century, there were only 1 or 2 monks at the Priory. After a recovery in the 15th century, numbers declined again, and by the time it was closed in 1525 on the orders of the Cardinal Wolsey. It says there, at this date there was only the prior and 1 monk, and many of the buildings were in a very poor state. So it is really fascinating to see quite a lot of information around that. And I believe that is actually the well, Sandwell, where Sandwell actually gets its name. Check that out last. But you can see here, Sandwell Hall. Just imagine what this would have really looked like picturing it. So Sandwell Hall would have been right the way there, picturing it. So you imagine that gatehouse from where I come in to lead to this in 1700. Just imagine it would have looked like Hagley Hall, sort of. It says there, if you were standing here in 1850, you would have seen Sandwell Hall straight ahead. It says there, a cobbled surface of the low stone walls in front of you, which are the remains of Sandwell Priory. It says there, it's just talking about the Priory closed down in 1525. You've got the brick chambers to your right cover the Sandwell Spring. It says there, something there, Sandwell Priory and Sandwell Hall, and one of them was known as the Holy Well. Go and take a look at that actually. We've got some more there, you see some more buildings. So Sandwell Hall was built on top of Sandwell Priory in 1705. Wow. Let's go and check out this. But check out this, is this the Sandwell? The well which gets its name, Sandwell. But wow, how cool is that? I'm not too sure if this is the well or not, or it's just a spring, but check out that. Really interesting. There is a well, but whether that is actually the one, I have no idea. But Sandwell does get its name from a well, if you're ever wondering. So right, somewhere over here, might be able to get down and show you. Apparently on the night time, it is very haunted over here, according to people that have been here. Local resources on the internet tell you about it. But you imagine all this old building stuff has got some old history to it. I mean, imagine having the hall there. So if it is haunted, the haunteds could be from the hall that was there many years ago. But wow, it's a shame to see history has really gone lost into many years of planning the development into things like this, and then we end up with just ruins. It's really sad and crazy when you think about it. Just imagine if it was really here, how much visitors it would bring, how prosperous it would be to the landscape itself, similar to Himley Hall. But wow, just seeing this just really does give you a sense of what would have been here many years ago. It's just so crazy. I mean, what we're standing on right now would have looked so cool. And we're standing inside of a building right now, believe it or not. But what valleys is really interesting. So drop it in the comments of what you think that is. It isn't the shape of some kind of like grave. I really don't know. And then all the way here, which is really quite cool. Check out the walls of this. I mean, just to see this is a privilege, because many years time all this could just end up vanishing. Got some initials just carved there. Could be old, could be new, I really don't know. But wow, there would have been a window here. Just imagine standing here inside the building. It would have gone all the way across. You had a big massive hallway right the way there into the other section of the building. But looking out these windows many years ago, it just really does give you a sense, really, when you think about it, of what it would have really been like. Just imagine the monks what was here. It's really quite cool. There is actually still very old remains for certain types of it. Could this be for the Priory itself, or is this pipe actually for the hall what was there many years ago? Let me know what you think. Just a pipe sticking right the way there. But there we go, that's actually Sandwell Priory. Really glad I got to show you that, but that is really quite cool to still see that there is part of where the window would have been. That is amazing. So right, we've actually found it, here we are. This is the old remains of Sandwell Park Colliery. The old tramway what went across many years ago. Check out this. It's quite cool seeing this, the old bridge, what would have led from one side all the way to the other. Check out that. That is amazing. I mean, just to see all of this left here within the woodland part in Priory Woods is really cool. When you see the scale of it, how it goes all the way across. I think the bridge has collapsed, and at one point it still went all the way across, but that's collapsed now. Go to the other side. What does it look like from this corner? And you can just see it's completely overgrown, nature taken all the way back. Check out that. But not only that, Check out this. Right around the corner I've just discovered this. There we go, check out this old gate. There's so much colliery stuff over here. Old gate right the way there. That is really quite cool, that is. So how many years old is that gate? Because that is also part of the colliery. There's even more, so much more down the backs down here. Check out this bit. Where you just roll round, you will see it. All the way there as well onto that corner. So if you want to see more, then definitely comment in the comments and I will get over here and do another video for this. We got the top end of the sandwell to cover yet and much more. So from the Midlands Outdoors, I hope you've enjoyed it and see you again soon. Peace out.